Well, welcome back to another episode of Make Your Big Impact, where we interview highly regular people that are doing very impactful things in the world. And our fabulous next guest today is Butta-B-Rocka, who just released her brand new single, Promised Land, which I've listened to a couple of times today, and it is absolutely beautiful. Butta-B-Rocka, highly versatile, internationally acclaimed artist and musician. Her career includes work as an actress, composer, and a model. She's also the best-selling author of Fear of Failure. And of course, this is our second time interviewing her. Super excited to have her back. She's one extraordinary lady with an extraordinary voice. Butta-B-Rocka, welcome back.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I am doing very good. I'm doing very good. I've listened to the song, the single Promised Land, a couple times today. Tell us about it. Give us some background.
Well, I am going to be doing a tour over in Africa. I got called last year. I performed for the Prime Minister of Bahamas, and the lady that flew me over to perform called me, and she's doing another tour where they're merging all of these different kings together, their kingdomhoods. They're going to unite and be at peace and everything. And so she wanted me to come over and sing. And when I sung for the Prime Minister, they requested "Rise Up" by Andrea Day, which is a beautiful song. But I am a singer and a songwriter, and so I took it as an opportunity to go ahead and showcase my writing skills, and wanted to go back over there doing something that I wrote. And so I got the theme of what the conference was going to be about, and that's how Promised Land came about.
What an impactful, what a prestigious invitation to be
Yes.
invited to, what is the impact of this event, worldwide, and the fact that they invited you to be the voice, because music brings and unites everybody together. Give us even a little more depth about what this means and your role in all of this.
I'm gonna be very honest. To get the call, when there's so many major artists out there that they also have reach and can, get in contact with, was definitely a blessing for me. And to find out that I'm going to be singing before, it's 4 kings that I'm going to be singing before. One's in London and couples in Africa and stuff. And I'm going to be going over to, starting in Nigeria, then I'm going to Cameroon, then Ghana. And then it's going to end in, I think, Bahamas. And I think they're going to do London. I'm not 100% sure because the dates got pushed back. So,
well, it's that creative world, right? You just never know, but you're prepared and you're always ready. Now, you have this beautiful vocal range, right? Your voice is angelic and it really comes across in the single Promised Land. Where did that come from?
I wanted to, when I thought of the song and when I thought of, I'm going to be singing in front of all of these royalty people and everything, and prestigious leaders. And it was about uniting everyone. I wanted to make sure that I had a song that everybody could sing along to. So I tried to make the chorus, very catchy, very easy to, for anybody to sing. I didn't add a whole lot of riffs and other things to it because you want to make it simple. Simplicity is always good sometimes. So I wanted to make this a "We Are the World" type of song because the world definitely needs healing right now. There's a lot of things going on. And one of the things that I'm real excited about, I took it a little further than that, and I can't wait for you guys to see the music video. But, when I think about being united and everyone is royalty, well, in my mind, everyone is royalty. So I made my music video that's still being edited. I made it include all nationalities. And so you had my friend from Ghana, and you had Philippines, and you had all these different nationalities come together in their authentic attire
Oh, wow. Oh,
and
how
put
fun.
the video together. So I'm really excited, about this movement.
It
Definitely.
is a movement. It
Yeah.
is a movement. And it just released last week, going around the globe in this huge, impactful, tour
Yes.
in front of royalty, creating peace together. And of course, your voice is so beautiful inside the track, and with everything that you do. And so the impact, right? As you're thinking, as you're writing and you're performing, this isn't just a song. This is,
Right.
like you said,
This
it's a
is
movement.
this is absolutely a movement that's going to start.
I love that. And there you are, this beautiful, beautiful woman, and this beautiful voice with a beautiful story as well. Your book, let's talk about Fear of Failure. It was just released earlier this year, yes?
Yes, it was released in April. Let me rephrase that. It was pre-released in April. And on the day one of my pre-release, in 7 hours, I became a best-selling author and a
In
best.
7 hours. In
Yes.
7 hours. Okay, how did you do that?
You know, I think, doing heavy marketing, one. Uh, and I think I had a little bit of an advantage because, I travel all over the world, and, you have so many people that you can reach, and when I was marketing it, everybody was like, we're going to support you. We're going to support you. I didn't realize before the official book came out, it was going to reach that. That was like, oh my goodness, are you serious? And it's my first book.
Okay, so writing music, right? It's vulnerable, right? You're putting yourself out there, you're sharing, but in little, like 3-4 minute vignettes. Writing a book, what was that like for you?
It was very therapeutic and scary at the same time because it is your baby. Like you said, you're literally putting it all on the line. You don't know how someone is going to react to it. And it's about my journey in the music industry, my ups and downs, my divorce, raising my kids, and all of the different avenues and things that I had to endure. So it was very, hard letting someone in on my life like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was even crazier is I wrote it in 4 days, and I wrote it
What?
when,
What?
yeah,
Four
I wrote it
days.
while I was over in Hawaii on tour, and they had a big hurricane. So I was on a ship as a guest entertainer. So they had us rerouted, and so they took us even farther out, into sea to, not be affected by the weather or whatever. So 4 days, there's nothing else to do. I had nothing but time. So it was hard trying to piece together, the arrangement and everything, but I had the majority. I would say 90% of the book was done before I got off the ship. And then, of course, I had to go back and do some re-edits and stuff like that. But yeah, 4 days, I was done with the book. But it was very hard for me to share some really personal details, with things that happened to me. But it was therapeutic to know that people supported me when I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the title is called Fear of Failure.
Fear of failure, fear of not trying.
Fear of not trying. Okay, Fear of Failure, Fear of Not Trying. Bestseller in 7 hours because of the support and the fans and the loyalty that you've created all across the globe.
Right.
But describe the title. Why that title?
Well, people have a fear of failure. Well, I have a fear of failure. So that stops a lot of people from even starting.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I had a fear of failure at first. I started immediately when I was young, going after my dreams and everything. A car accident left me drinking from a straw for 6 months. I was literally headed to my attorney's office when and had 2 offers on the table when I got into the car accident. And so it took me a year to get back on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I did, the deals were off the table. My friends who were at the same level playing as me are now major Grammy award winning, singers and rappers. And not that anyone has to carry me. So I'm not saying that, but I used to do all of these things with them. And then they kind of looked at me as if I was beneath them now, or no longer on their level. And so for me, it really did something inside of me and made me feel like I was unworthy or not good enough and stuff like that. So, but I had more fear of not trying. You know, I was scared to fail, but I was even more scared to not at least try and say, I've never wanted to be that woulda, coulda, shoulda chick. Never. So, you know, I believe you make your own destinies. It took me a long time to get that. And I finally in 2010 decided to put out my own stuff. I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter if I don't have a record deal. It doesn't matter if I'm older now. None of that stuff matters. You know, I need to put out the best representation of me and put out music that I love. And so my first album is called Switch Lanes. And through all of my travel, I love all different types of genres. And you know how everybody's like, well, what genre are you? What do you sing? You know, I sing a little bit of everything. I mean, if I have to put a category, it's more pop R&B, but I got a little bit of soft rock. I got some jazz, and I got a little bit of everything up in there, because I don't believe you should have to be in this box. I believe you should go after everything you want to do, you know. And then, you know, another thing I was thinking about, you know, when you think about like the Steve Harveys and all of those type of people, or the Oprah Winfreys or whoever, they have their hands in multiple things. You don't have to just be this one person. You need to get a craft that you're good in, of course, then you can, you know, expand. But I'm going for everything.
Going for it all. Going for it all. Well, but it was in one moment, right? You were on this path, yes. And in, you know, deals on the table, all the success. I mean, your future was pretty much, you know, on track. And right. Then here's this car accident that completely derails you, sends you into a different path. The fact that you were able to bounce back from that, and I know those details are inside of the book, is what makes you, I think, such an even more inspirational person to follow. And then, of course, the single Promised Land, it's so versatile. It doesn't, even as I was listening to it, I was even thinking, oh, what genre is this? Because it is so versatile. And so is that a risk to be that versatile in the music world, or is that an asset, or is that a risk?
I think it's both. But I think that you have to take risks on your life. You know what I mean? So I have the genre for this particular track as world. I definitely think you have to take those risks. You can't be scared. And like, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they was like, well, your album is more pop and everything, and now this is world. So what are you? What's your range? I said, my range is everything. I mean, it really is.
It is. All right. So we talked about the tour that's coming up. You know, you're now an international best-selling author. You've got this brand new single coming out. How long ago was the car accident?
Well, the car accident was over 10 years ago. Okay. But what's interesting, you are correct. I mean, it was devastating. It was a lot to bounce back from that. And I'm glad that I took that chance, because I began touring all over the world once I put my music out there. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Of course, I didn't have no labels behind me. And it takes one person to hear one song, to see you one time, and your whole life can change. And so with me putting out my first album, that changed a whole lot of stuff. And I started traveling the world, seeing things that you know how, like, I felt like I knew I was going to be traveling, but I've seen and done some things that I never imagined I would do. But ironically, after I wrote the book, right before I wrote the book, actually, I ended up having another injury where I was rehearsing and I fell. And I ended up dislocating my shoulder, and I had a torn meniscus, torn ACL. This was in December. Now, my book didn't come out until April. So in December, I injured myself, but I still had commitments. So I went over to Mexico. I went over to Chile. I went to the city gala up in LA. No one knew that I was hurt, but I was so hurt. I had no range of motion in my left side of my shoulders. I was walking with a limp. at that time, I hadn't had surgery yet. I ended up having surgery. My book came out April 1st. I had surgery on April 4th. That was dramatic because since I waited to have the surgery, it went from a partial tear and a meniscus, which would have been 6 weeks recovery time, to now it was a full tear and it's a whole year recovery time.
Oh,
So
no.
I was like, oh my God, how do you go from traveling, doing all of this stuff to now what? You know what I mean?
A
I'm
year,
like,
a
yeah,
year of recovery
right.
required.
So it's been an amazingly crazy journey, because at that point there's a pivoting moment in your life where you have to realize, what are you going to do? And what was so cool about my surgery, the day of my surgery, Les Brown called me on the phone and he said, this is not a setback, this is a setup, for what's to come. And
I can
he's
I can
right.
just picture him. I can hear him saying
Yeah.
that, right? And
Yeah.
his little cadence that he's
Yeah.
got. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And what was so cool about it, I said at that moment, okay, I could either look at this as a bad thing or see the blessing in this. And what it caused me to do is have to tap into other skills of mine. You know what I mean? It forces you to have to do other things.
Yeah.
So since then, there's been so many amazing things. I've been showing my journey online. I was walking with a walker for 3 months, then it went to the cane. Then I've been doing physical therapy since January, 3 times a week for a whole hour. I just got
Oh.
released last week. Last Friday was my last day. So
Oh,
11 whole
wow.
months, right? But through this whole thing, I have released a best-selling book. My boys have created their own teen magazine that has done really, really good. I've graduated from college, top of the class, as the first Black president for the Golden Key High Honor International Society. I've done amazing.
Wow.
And then I just released my new single. So I can't complain.
All while recovering
Hurt.
in this year long, right?
Right.
Going through all that. I mean, that's what you do when you're hurt. And that's what you do when you're in pain and in recovery. So if we had a year of none of that, imagine your stamina and what will even come out of that. You are such an inspiration to so many, what you've got going. And your story is incredibly fabulous. Where do people connect? How do you want them to find Promised Land? What do you want them to do next?
Please go. Oh, I just got added to Pandora. Now, I've been trying to get on Pandora. As an independent artist, it's very hard to get on Pandora. You have to be a certain rank to get on Pandora. So
Okay.
they have just with Promised Land, and Promised Land officially has been a full week today. Promised Land got picked up by Pandora. On day 6, I went from 899 the first day of streams on Spotify. I am now at 13,000 monthly streams of my song on Spotify.
In 1 week.
In 1 week.
In 1 week.
1 week.
Way to go.
And I'm on the billboard downtown in Atlanta. So if you see me, I'm on 8th Street and Peach Street.
We will look for it. Send a picture. You see her billboard picture, right? And post that. I love it. Well, congratulations. You are just on a fabulous trajectory. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing's holding you back. In fact, you have proven time and time again, you pivot, right? You just adjust and right. Not a setback, but a setup. I love that. I love that quote. Anything else you want to share before we have to say goodbye?
Yes, please follow me on all social media at Butta-B-Rocka. That is Butta, B as in boy, Rocka. My song Promised Land is out on all digital markets, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Amazon. Anything you can think of is out there. Please share it. Please download the song. Let's make it go viral.
Let's do all of that for you. All right. Thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you so much.